So Squad Busters have many hidden stats that you don't know. For example, did you know that every hero in the game passively heals itself every 2 seconds? Well, the Barbarian King heals himself 600 HP every 2 seconds. The Archer Queen will heal herself 425 HP every 2 seconds. Sonic will heal himself 370 HP every 2 seconds. The Royale King will heal himself 360 HP every 2 seconds. And weirdly enough, Mortis will heal himself a whopping 780 HP every 2 seconds. So today I'll be revealing all the secret hero stats in the game. Even if you don't think it's useful, I still want you to know. Okay, so starting off with the Barbarian King. His dash ability will deal 756 damage and 757 damage when you hit an enemy, meaning in total you can deal 1,513 damage from a dash on an enemy troop. Now you might be very confused, doesn't it just do 1,513 damage in total? Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Essentially, when you dash into someone, all their troops take 756 damage, but sometimes they'll take double damage, meaning 756 and 757. Now in my testing, this usually happens when you aim from very close and you aim very well. So if you aim from afar and you dash into someone, the dash will only do 756 damage once. But if you aim very closely, the closest enemies will take 756 damage and 757 damage. Now yes, this is a little bit weird and confusing, but I thought you should know. Moving on to critical damage hits. Yes, every 3 seconds, the Barbarian King gets a critical damage, and you may have noticed this, it's a little stun, but pretty much normally he will deal 504 damage per swing of his sword. But every 3 seconds, just like I said, he'll get a critical damage boost where he will then deal 604 damage and stun the enemy for a brief amount of time. Now, some people seem to think it's every 3 hits because, well, it is every 3 hits, but it's actually every 3 seconds. So if you hit someone, you stun them, you run away, you run back, you hit them again, it stuns them. Anyways, finally moving on to the Barbarian King's power level 5 ability, which is really good. And here's how it works. So when he uses his dash, he'll then boost every troop in your squad with a 41% attack speed bonus and a 45% damage boost bonus. So in total, it turns out to be around 105% of a damage increase boost. And if you want to know how long this damage boost will last for once you use the dash, it lasts for 4 seconds, and then the damage boost and damage speed attack is removed. Now this might not seem too broken, only lasting 4 seconds, but now I'm going to tell you guys about a bug in the game which makes it actually not bad. So you may have noticed a lot of Barbarian King players start off with a wizard in their squad, and as you also might know, the wizard at ultimate form recharges abilities 25% faster, but for some reason this 25% boost applies twice to the hero's ability. So normally the Barbarian King's dash ability takes 8 seconds to recharge, but with the 25% recharge buff, it only takes 6 seconds to recharge. But because of the bug to where it now applies twice, you get 25% quicker of 6 seconds, which turns out to be 4.5 seconds. This essentially means as soon as you lose the power 5 damage boost, you can pretty much get it back if you have an ultimate wizard in your squad by dashing again. Moving on to the Archer Queen, there aren't that many hidden stats to go over, but let's go over some of them. Her basic attack will shoot 3 arrows, dealing 177 damage each for a total of 531 damage per attack. And remember, this is different to damage per second that showed in her main screen. I'm just talking about damage per impact hit. The X-Snipe ability that she shoots will deal 1,720 damage per hit, and the 3 arrows that then split out after, if you don't hit someone, will deal 602 damage per arrow. And as I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware, since the Trader nerf and the Archer Queen buff, she can now 3-tap someone's hero, and this is why. Because with Leon and Trader, the Archer Queen's X-Snipe will deal 2,494 damage per hit, meaning if you throw 3 Archer Queen arrows on someone, you can in total deal a maximum of 7,182 damage, which is crazy good. And I assume this is why Archer Queen is actually probably top 3 hero now. I would say though it's still behind Royale King and Barb King. Sonic is the newest hero added to Squad Busters only a couple weeks ago, but we have some stats for him as well. Firstly, each punch that he does will deal 595 damage per hit. But moving on to his Sonic ability, because as some of you guys might have noticed, when you use this ability, it acts like a blazing light and it gives you a second health bar. So let me go into the stats. Firstly, this supersonic ability actually only deals 100 damage to anyone in the circle, so you shouldn't use it for damage. You should mainly use it as a way to stun someone, to then finish off some troops. Now, once you use his supersonic ability, he will last in his golden form, which lasts for 17 seconds total, assuming you don't take any damage. And once the supersonic runs out, you go back to your basic health. Now, for some reason, a lot of people seem to forget this, but let's say you're at 1% health, then you use supersonic. Well, after the 25 seconds that his ability lasts for, you'll be back down to 1 HP. I'm saying this because I've seen clips where people have forgotten that their health bar was actually really low originally. They run into the vines for like a second and they die. This was a clip on Reddit. Also, his hero does not heal health while the supersonic ability is active. Now, while in supersonic form, he deals 245 damage per hit, but he punches twice instead of once, and this happens more often, so it ends up being more damage than a normal Sonic. And finally, once supersonic runs out, it then takes 24 seconds for his ability to recharge again. Royale King also has a lot of hidden stats to go over, from picking up coins to how much damage and health recruits have. So firstly, the normal recruits in your squad will deal 170 damage per hit, which means they have a damage per second rate of 200. They will last for only 30 seconds on the map before you then have to go to a new chest to refresh them, but of course if you have a healer, it'll last for longer. A normal recruit will have 3,300 health, and finally, but most importantly, every 3 seconds, these recruits will drop 1 coin if you're attacking anything. So it is very good to build up a big squad by farming with the coins. Now, when you compare this to an elite recruit, the elite recruit looks even better. A golden elite recruit will deal 213 damage per hit, so in total, they deal 400 damage per second, and they have the exact same coin stats as the normal recruit, so dropping 1 coin every 3 seconds if you attack a monster. Now, this does mean if you have a maxed out Royale King and you pick a supplier in a chest, you'll get 3 golden recruits, so add that onto your normal recruits, you get 6 coins every 3 seconds. Also, an elite recruit's health is going to be 4,500, which is what, like half an Archer Queen? And finally, an elite recruit will only last for 10 seconds on the map. And obviously, with healers like Medic and Poco, they'll last for longer. Now, all the stats that I just told you about the elite recruits stay the same when you throw the recruit spell out, because that spawns a little elite recruit. But when you do throw his recruit spell out, as you'll know, it does some damage, and that splash damage is 500, which is actually like an old bomb spell. Now, moving on to the final hero for this video, Mortis. Now, I know Mortis isn't in a very good spot at the moment. He's gotten quite a few nerfs, so some of these stats might not be that interesting, but I'll go over them anyways. So firstly, Mortis will deal 503 damage per hit. Now remember, this is different to damage per second listed into his menu. When you charge up Mortis's dash ability, which by the way takes 1.56 seconds to charge up, he will then deal 203 damage to everything nearby and do a little bit of a stun and a knockback. When you send out a bat with Mortis's bat ability, each bat will deal 144 damage per hit, but at the same time, it'll heal your hero 43 health per every single bat. And at power level 5, he spawns in a big bat, and this big bat does 480 damage per hit, which is really good, and he heals your hero a lot more to 144 HP per hit. Anyways, I hope these stats help you guys out, or I just hope it's interesting to know about this stuff. I will be having a video going into depth on how Spike is going to work, because he's coming out later this month, so look out for that. Anyways, use code Claz in the Squad Busters shop if you buy anything, and check out my last Reddit video where I went over the revenue for Squad Busters, which is $1 million for the Sonic collab, which may sound like a lot, but honestly, it's not that good actually, because it's a Sonic collab. It should be more. Or maybe it shouldn't be more. I don't know. What do you think? You tell me in the video.